Our favorite baseball team drops 2-3 to a lousy baseball team. I mean, it's not completely surprising, but man, I just didn't like the way they attacked the game. And plus, 54 years, we still hang in there with our baseball team. We do. Day in, day out, day in, day out. I want to get your reaction coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
One of the things I always check every day religiously, and I go to Twitter for that, is when that Brewer lineup comes out. When the lineup comes out, because I want to see who's in the lineup today. And I was fearful that they're going to sit Turang or not start him for a third day in a row. And sure enough, and it worked out fine. They didn't score any runs, obviously. The Brewers lose 1-0 to Miami. This righty-lefty thing hadn't worked much. Hasn't been real great in this Miami series. They threw 3 lefties, and I guess the way to beat the Milwaukee Brewers is make sure you throw all lefties out there, because the Brewers won't be playing, or at least they won't be starting Sal Frelick no matter how hot he is or how he's hitting against lefties, or Brice Turang, one of the most exciting players in the league, and just been amazing so far this year, batting .300, all-star type numbers. But how do you not start that guy? That must lead me to think that they don't feel that great about him just yet. They're not fully confident. I mean, somebody sent me a tweet. Do you think that Harvey Keene would have benched Cecil Cooper, Jim Gantner, Ben Oglivie? 3 left-handed hitters back in the day and those 80s Brewers teams. Would he have benched those 3 lefties if a lefty was starting? Probably not. Cooper, I don't think ever budged out of that 3-hole. Never. I don't want to hear this a different time in baseball and analytics and all that. I don't know. If a guy can play, a guy can play. Anyway, Turang's had 3 games in a row. Frelick was not in the starting lineup again. Monasterio, who boggles my mind how Monasterio is the leadoff hitter. Now, I love Pat Murphy. He's done a great job. But when I'm putting that lineup card together every day, okay, and I'm seeing who am I going to have my leadoff hitter? Who's going to bat leadoff? Who's going to be that guy to get on? Well, let's put Andrew Monasterio. He's hitting 154, but maybe this is the day. Obviously, he felt that all 3 days of the series. Maybe this is the day Andrew's going to bust out of it. I know he couldn't make the team, but let's put him in that leadoff spot anyway. Brice, I know you're hitting 300. What are you, 4-17 against lefties this year? Small sample, but you young man, even though you have 18 stolen bases, one of the leaders in baseball, you're on the bench. Don't get it whatsoever. I don't understand it. So they go out and play an hour and 54-minute game. I was just disgusted. First, I was disgusted earlier in the day with the lineup. It's the first time I think I've really been this disappointed. Freddie goes out there, gives up the 1 run in the first inning on the home run ball, and 98 pitches, 7 innings, couldn't get him a win because you couldn't get any offense behind him. Guys who should be in the lineup right now, even Bowers. Put our own Owen Miller. Bowers is 3rd in the league right now, and I'm not the biggest Jake Bowers fan. He's slowly winning me over. Jake Bowers right now is 3rd in the league in OPS since April 16th. So right around tax day, he's 3rd in the league OPS. Second is Ohtani. Now, I'm telling you, if I'm in a category as hitting like in Ohtani's category, I'm in the lineup more. I don't even remember Owen Miller's name. When it comes to putting a lineup, Owen Miller doesn't even cross my mind. Bowers, lefty, righty, I don't know, 3rd in the league OPS. You're in the ball game. Number 1 is Ortiz, right-handed hitter. Thank goodness he's not left-hander, or he would have played in any of these games. Ortiz is, he took an 0 for last night, but still, number 1 in the league OPS since April 16th. Bowers is 3rd. Ohtani is 2nd. Pretty good company to be in right now, and Ortiz just is having a better year than a lot of us thought, especially me. And then Bowers, who 3rd in the league in OPS since then. I'm playing the guy every day until Rhys Hoskins gets back, obviously. Movement on Garrett Mitchell, and I didn't mean to start the show so negatively, but gosh, if I'm feeling, I know you guys feel the same way. I know you don't feel the same way. And if you don't feel that way, you don't care if the team wins or loses. If you're not passionate about the team, if you don't care about the team, then you're the ones who are sending me the tweets. Why are you all so negative about this team? Then you obviously don't care. You're fine with 54 years of, incompetence basically by this franchise. I say incompetence, lack of championships. Even Miami, who can't even put in 500 people in their stadium, they've got 2 more World Series championships than us. Just, I don't know, letting it all hang out today. I just was frustrated. And I know the Brewers are off to a great, they're 28-21. And I'm loving this. I do love the fact that they are 28-21. But man, when we don't put our best lineup out there, and I don't care righties or lefties, I don't know, Turang's got to be in there every day, and Bauer's the way he's hitting. Why is Owen Miller even on the team? Well, he should be on the team coming off the bench, but not in the starting lineup. So Garrett Mitchell, he's going to take some batting practice this weekend. That's good news. May 24th, he's going to be taking some batting practice. That's Friday at Fenway, and they're still shooting for June 17th, it appears, against the LA Angels in Anaheim. So June 17th is the target date for getting Mitchell back. Good. It'll be great to get him back. Great to get him back. And we'll see how they shuffle things around. What happens to a couple of guys on this team not pulling their weight. We'll see if they turn it around by then. But Garrett Mitchell, before the injury, we were talking about platooning this guy. I don't want to see Garrett Mitchell platooned at all. He's got to be, obviously, Perkins is not the Blake Perkins he was earlier in the year, so he better not be platooning with anybody. All right. We come back. We're going to talk about this. I put this tweet out there. A lot of interesting responses. 54 years the Milwaukee Brewers have not won a World Series title. Been to one World Series, and that was 42 years ago. That's just absolutely a joke if you think about it in professional sports today. We're going to get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We're coming right back after this quick break here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host. Game Time. Game Time is where I get my tickets for Brewers games. The Cubs are in town for 4 next weekend. The White Sox are here after that. How about that? You got the Cubs and White Sox like back to back, I want to say, next week. That's kind of odd. I know the Cubs are here for 4. Got to get through the Red Sox series first. But anyway, the Game Time app. This is where I punch in to get great seats, and great seats on the first level, the club level, which I love sitting on, wherever. There's always terrific seats at AmFam Field, and you get them through Game Time. Browse the Game Time app, look for what game you want, look what seats you want, punch in the views from the seats, and you're going to see exactly where you're sitting. Lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. And the key is also, too, if you're at the last second, hour before the game, you want to get tickets, man, these prices are dropping sometimes near game time. You get these last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off on buying last minute. And not just sports, concerts. It's going to be a great concert summer in the state of Wisconsin. Comedy, theater, zone deals, all in pricing. No surprise fees whatsoever. So here's what you need to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create that account, first of all. Redeem that code, LOCKEDONMLB, $20. Buy $70 for the tickets, you get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee here with Game Time. And we're coming right back here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. All right. I put this out there. I was so disgusted after the game last night. And I didn't drop the video right after the game because it was a 1-0 game. I was furious. And I just, there was not a lot of nuts and bolts to that game that I thought we all want to talk about. And funny, my podcast, the downloads, when the Brewers win, it's off the charts. When they lose, some of you are just don't want to hear it. And I get it. So I waited to the next day today on this one. I'm going to take a quick drink of my lemonade here. Waited to the next day. Put on Twitter last night. Got great response. I said, just a terrible night to watch the Brewers. Just an uninteresting night against a faceless team in the Marlins. My question for Locked On Brewers. The Brewers have never won a World Series. Limited success overall. What keeps you coming back? We continue to pile in to AmFam Field, whether it's they're giving away coolers, prime ribs, whatever. Well, they never give away prime ribs, but certainly I'd be there for prime rib night. Whatever, they're giving away shirts, jerseys. They have some nice giveaways, cups. We continue to go out, even on those non-promotional days, to go to games. We watch the games. We listen to the games on the radio. We follow the team. We got a lot of followers here on Locked On Brewers. Why do we continue to do this when the team has virtually? How come we're not Miami? At a time in the mid '90s, we were Miami in 1995. We were getting 5,000-6,000 fans at a game because the Brewers were going nowhere. It was salaries were out of control. Well, they are now, okay, but nobody was going to games. Brewers were right around the 500 mark, and nobody was going. Even late 80s, when the Brewers were contending, like the 87 year, when Molitor had his hitting streak and the Brewers were contending in 87, they were not filling up the ballpark. You know, there was probably 15,000 fans, I think, there the night Molitor had his 39-game hitting streak ended. But I would say since 2004, there's been a big renaissance with Brewer fans going to games. All of a sudden, interest started to climb a little bit. And I think people began to see, maybe they're building something here. Media interest began to build a little bit. Not national media, but media interest here in the state. So I put out there, why do we keep hanging on? Robin says, I'm a glutton for punishment. Ryan says, I'm slowly stepping away. Didn't renew my tickets this year. Well, I mean, you have to do what you have to do, Ryan. If you don't want to renew your tickets. I've never heard of somebody slowly stepping away from a fandom of a team, like break away from a relationship. You slowly break away and you see the girl maybe less and less and less before you're seeing her anymore. Does that same rule apply to baseball here? I'm not sure. Logan says, just great memories of the ballpark when I was little. Growing up, loving baseball made me stick with them throughout my life. Yes, a lot of our memories with our families, dads, moms, or whatever, going to Brewers games. A lot of my great memories as a kid in the 70s and 80s, getting autographs. I can't stay away. I'm the cherry on top is that they're winning games. But, if they're 21 and 28, I'd still be going to my Sunday games. Of course, I'd be covering them for my job. I have to. But I'd still be going out with the family on Sundays. Even in 20, you look at the mid 2015, 2016, 2017, they were in it for a little bit until September. There are a lot of times where, they're not in it, but I just enjoy going out there. Ryan says this team's offense is pathetic. Had been for years. Like the Bucks, they have journeymen that no other team would use, and we call them starters. Yeah, we do. We take somebody else's journeyman, like a Andrew Monasterio, and put him in the top of the lineup. We take other players that other teams do not want. Oh, come on and join us. We'll find a spot for you. Somehow the Brewers seem to still win during the regular season. They have made that work here in the last couple of years. It's just when they get to the postseason, it eventually comes back to bite them on the lack of stars. I mean, they find ways to win games. They pull off a great trade with Contreras. It's just, it seems like, this patching things together sometimes, and this is a baseball issue, doesn't exactly work for getting us World Series titles. Brooke says, imagine being this negative all the time. Okay, Brooke, you don't have to follow me. And I'm not negative all the time. People know, the people who tweet at me, some of you get it. T Twice says, I love the Brewers organization. There's been lots of heartache over the years, but they've overcome so many obstacles, especially this year. I'm unsure about the rotation, but I think Yelly, Contreras, and Adames' leadership have made this team special. Well, more special than we thought. They were picked by Vegas to win 76.5 games, or the over and under was 76.5 games. It was set very low. I did take the over on that, and I feel very confident in it right now, barring just an absolute collapse. But yeah, they have caused us a lot of heartache over the years. The Brewers have caused us a lot of heartache. Our sports teams in Wisconsin have, but none so much more than the Milwaukee Brewers. NPS says, what else am I going to do? Sure is not going to hell to root for the Cubs or White Sox. And by a certain age, it's either in your DNA or it's not. Yep, being a Brewer fan is in our DNA. It is. And if we're from here, we live here, that's what we do. We just wish for some more success. John says 1982 was in a lot of ways like 1985 is for Bears fans. Even though the crew came up short, CC, Braun, and Fielder now the current run of sustained success keeps hope alive. Yeah, there's always that hope with the Brewers. They give you a little hope, at least. You know, I mean, with the Yankees every year, you're hoping for a World Series championship. With the Dodgers every year, you're hoping for you're not hoping, but you're banking on, you know, going to postseason play, that you're going to win your 90 games. And when the Yankees have a year like last year when they didn't, there's, you know, major heartbreak. But you go into every season with the Yankees and Dodgers and those big market teams expecting to contend. With the Brewers, you're given some hope. You're given some hope, that is it. No guarantees. Well, there's never a guarantee in anything, but there's more so the guarantee that the Yankees or the Dodgers, or you feel better about your chances than you do the Milwaukee Brewers of winning a pennant. Patty says, love for the sport, love my hometown team, love the ballpark, love for punishment. So she loves everything, but she knows eventually she's going to get her heart broken in the end. Hound says, MLB is wrecked. The reasons are many. Love the crew. Also, always will be, but being a real fan is a thing of the past for me. Check the box score and think of the days gone by when parody was reality. Well, parody went out the window probably in 1990. That's when we began to see the baseball turn a little bit. And in the 92, 93, we saw baseball turn a little bit. There was, you know, parody, but parody back then, salaries, Yankees were always paying players. It just escalated through the roof. I mean, back in the 70s, the Yankees were playing, you know, they're paying Reggie Jackson and later Dave Winfield big time money that the Brewers weren't paying any of their guys. But it's just now got into the hundreds of millions of dollars that the Brewers can't afford. Tax fan says, nothing else to watch this summer. Beer Cheese Benny says, well, Chuck, I remember in 2005 going to my first game at Miller Park versus the Astros as a first grader. And then the Brewers won the game. I'm committed to my hometown team since. Rebecca says, I love the Brewers, always root for them, and there's always hope that this could finally be the year. That's right. There's always that hope. We have that hope that this is it. This is the year that the Brewers are going to break that door down. Top 1% says many reasons. Indoctrination at a young age, love for the sport, they're part of the culture of my city, and the hope that one day they'll break through and be glorious. Yeah, they're all part of not only our city, our great state, the great state of Wisconsin, which I love. Mr. Smiley says, you're a good host, talking about a good baseball team. I love the sport. I love the Brewers. Thank you, Smiley. Desjardins says, when will the Brewers' rich owners spend some money for a championship? No excuse to lose a series to the 17 and 34 Marlins. That happens. Losing a series like that, as we know with baseball. My question is not so much losing, but how come we're not going down with some of the guys that got us there, got us to 28 and 21. Kyle Kamishik says morbid curiosity. Gunslinger says, I was really hoping we were done with this analytics BS when Craig left. 3 games in a row. Now your potential all-star Turang has been on the bench just because he's a lefty. That's garbage. Play your best darn players. Gunslinger, you and I could sit down and have beers and watch the game together. There's no question about that. All you guys, good answers, good stuff. All you Brewer fans, we're going to have to do that Brewer meetup I've been talking. I talked about that in the preseason or early in the year, a Brewer meetup. Still want to get that thing off the ground. We got some great people out there who follow this podcast, and I appreciate that every day. You get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, all the major downloads. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode. Follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. I didn't even introduce myself to start the show. My name is Chuck Freeman. Got right into the show. Chuck Freeman, longtime sports talk show host here in Wisconsin. And we're coming right back here on Locked On Brewers. FanDuel is a winner-take-all way to go. NBA, NHL, they're getting right down to the conference finals. FanDuel, you have your shot at bringing home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. $150, bet on spreads, money lines, props, you name it. FanDuel.com/locked on. Make every playoff shot count. Maybe you liked Doncic yesterday and the Dallas Mavericks catching the 4.5 on the road in Minnesota. I don't know how you could have bet on the Miami Marlins in this series. Brewers were like a 130 favorite yesterday with Peralta. I just felt it was kind of low. But the Marlins, if you bet on the Marlins all three games of the series, you won money. I'm sure the Brewers will be dogs going into Fenway Park, and I think they'll bounce back this weekend. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Go to FanDuel.com to look at odds and see what's there. But you got to go there, first of all. Go to FanDuel.com/locked on and sign up. Get your $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Brewers aren't going to get swept in Boston. There's all sorts of good prop bets in there as well. We're coming right back here on Locked On Brewers. All right, we're heading down the home stretch. Got the Boston Red Sox. Got a day off today. Boston Red Sox. Wilson, Colin Ray, and TBA on Sunday. Brice Wilson, who pitched his first bad start his last time out. Ray, who's trending in the wrong direction, especially the 3 times through the order. And then Mr. TBA, because the Brewers are short a starter. That would have been Ross's spot, but Ross obviously on the injured list. We'll see who the Brewers go with coming up on Sunday. Ketter Crawford, Nick Pivetta, and Tanner Houck. The 3 for the Red Sox. The Red Sox are 26-24. They've won some games. They just coming off a sweep. They swept somebody. They swept Tampa. Swept Tampa at a 3-game set. And, I heard from a lot of you that, and of course they have Devers. Devers is great. Just set the Red Sox record this past week for homering in 6 straight games. So he's good. And the Red Sox, another one of those storied franchise that have been disappointing as of late. But, 26-24, they're kind of hanging in there. But they're 7.5 out in the dreaded American League East. Hopefully the Brewers can go in there and take 2. I see a lot of you guys have messaged me that you're going to the series this weekend. Perfect time to visit Fenway Park. I've never been to Fenway. It would have been to Fenway if the Brewers won Game 7 against the Dodgers in 2018, because they would have played them in the World Series, and it would have been great. But I've never been to Boston and never been to Fenway. Like that song goes, please come to Boston. I've never been to Boston in the springtime, the summertime, or the wintertime, the fall time either. But I will get there. Would love to get there for a Brewers game. And this weekend, of course, with the way the schedule is expanded now, we have a chance every couple of years to go out to Fenway Park and see the Brewers play. So anyway, have yourself a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Hang in there with our team. I know you are going to be out there watching them, or if you're going to be up north, you got the radio on while you're out in the boat fishing. For you, those of you out of state and never been to Wisconsin, that's what we do in Wisconsin. Memorial Day weekend, you look at the freeway system. Everybody's heading north starting today and Fridays. Everybody's going up north to their cabin or renting a cabin or going to visit relatives, or everybody knows somebody who's got a cabin. A lot of people are heading up north and enjoying the lakes that we have in Wisconsin, the great golf courses, which I'll be doing this weekend. My kid's in a Little League tournament, a 12-year-old tournament in Mequon on Sunday. If you see me, stop by and say hello. I'll be in Mequon on Sunday for an all-day tournament with my phone, watching the Brewers with their noon start out there. So have yourself a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody. And, of course, follow us on YouTube. Go to Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode. Google, Spotify, Apple run all the major downloads for Locked On Brewers. And of course, please follow me on Twitter. As always, hit me up, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. All you everydayers, I appreciate you all hearing your messages, seeing you at ball games, seeing you on the streets. All your great support for Locked On Brewers, man. I really, from the bottom of my heart, man, you know me, I'm genuine. I appreciate everybody out there. We're all in this together. Didn't mean to start the podcast on a negative note. By gosh, this team somehow, we're playing with one arm behind our backs already going into the season, being a small market. Let's be playing those Turangs and Frelicks. Let's be starting those kids and not only growing them, but getting them to play against left-handed, to get some experience against some left-handed hitters so we don't have to be doing this all the time. Platooning them instead of Andre Monasterio. What are we doing? Chuck Freeman. Good night, everybody.